Subscriber MAK-1 asked a question about building snow walls and how to deal with variable wind conditions. MAK asked, if you could also answer this, what if the wind direction is going to change later about building an initial snow wall? Have you been caught up in a situation where you had to build a new snow wall and later the wind seems to be changing directions? Absolutely, MAK-1. Thank you very much for the question. I really appreciate that. On my expedition in Greenland with Dr. Terry Williams and I, we had several situations where the wind direction was blowing one way all day and we thought, hey, this is great. We built the wall, we put up our tent, but we both failed to notice, hey, the sastrugi isn't following the wind direction. It's actually completely crosswise or exactly the opposite. I mean, all sorts of variations. We had this several times. Twice, we chose to ignore the sastrugi direction, meaning the current wind that we were experiencing, which was 30 miles an hour. It was windy. It was not pleasant to set up the tent. But we thought, oh, it'll be fine. The wind will stay like that. About 2 a.m., the wind calms down. And then by 3 or 4, blasting the other direction. That's S-U-C-K-E-D. Bad. And once we were okay, the next time when it happened, it was so bad, I had to gear up fully and Terry was working on breakfast, getting things going. So I got out and I started to build a little bit of a snow wall because when we were getting out and when it was so cold, we didn't want to frostbite our toes, we didn't want to lose gloves. So even though it seemed like a silly amount of effort, I went out with my Voile Telepro shovel and just started digging and cutting little cubes and building up a wall to protect my end of the vestibule because the wind was coming through so bad that when we unzipped the tent, I mean, it just roared snow through the tent. So that was super, super rough. So I've done that. Now on Denali, the wind can be highly variable. It comes from all over the place. And a lot of people, what they do is they completely build a snow wall all the way around their tent with a little entrance, maybe a cut entrance where you have to go in and then turn sideways to get to the tent because you never know where that wind's going to come from in mountaineering. That's the hard part, at least in polar exploration, especially like in Antarctica. When I was in Antarctica, only maybe once or twice that I even can remember was the wind it was where I expected. Normally it was always from the south, so that was very easy to do. Greenland, the wind was generally consistent until we reached the apex of Greenland, and then it changed quite a bit, and then we came down, and then it went from a side wind to like a quartering headwind. Oh my gosh. And then we got farther, and then it switched to a tailwind. So in those switching zones, when we had systems of high pressure and low pressure moving around, if you're not sure and you're mountaineering, and you have no clue where the wind's going to come from, it behooves you, MAK-1, and everyone else to completely build some sort of snow wall around your tent. Now, I use Hilleberg tents, tunnel tents. Ours handled terrible storm shifts pretty well, but it wasn't the tent that was the problem. It was the booming noise that made it hard to sleep. And also, when we got out in the morning, it was just such a battle. It was literally easier for me to gear up, grab the shovel and build maybe a 2 or 3 foot little snow berm so we could hide behind it because we had to protect our tent when we're putting it down, very careful not to lose and damage our tent. So that was a major factor. So should the wind change and it get bad, be prepared to get out and do a snow wall. If you're doing mountaineering and you know you're gonna camp for a while, just build a snow wall all the way around. It's not very easy, but trust me, when it's raging, storming outside, and you're getting pummeled from all directions, you would have wished you stayed up the extra half hour to build a snow wall. Please check out my book, The Motivated Amateur's Guide to Winter Camping. I talk all about this. Thank you very much.